Hello, this is Friederike Riemer from the Future Game 2050 and I'm here at the MDC lab, the Max Delbrück Center for Molecular Medicine, and today we want to do a future simulation for you and we are going to journey into a future without disease, exactly into the year 2050. So buckle up for the simulation and we are going to see you there.
Welcome to the Future Game 2050.
Hallo, ich bin Frieda.
Und ich bin Felix von The Future Game 2050.
Ich bin studierte Zukunftsforscherin und Expertin für Co-Kreation.
Und ich bin studierter Philosoph und Schriftsteller.
Und gemeinsam sind wir die Experten für das Übermorgen. Felix, was machen wir denn als Experten für das Übermorgen?
Ja, mit The Future Game 2050 haben wir einen Denkraum geschaffen für strategische Zukunftsgestaltung. Was heißt das jetzt? Wir helfen da Organisationen, ihren Existenzgrund zu schärfen und zu hinterfragen. Aber auch helfen wir, dass Trends systemisch verstanden werden und dann auch angewendet werden. Und natürlich wollen wir, dass Innovation und Co-Kreation gefördert wird.
Felix, wir sprechen ja immer von Zukunftsgestaltung. Was ist denn das eigentlich und warum ist das wichtig?
Nun, wir leben ja in einer Welt, die sich eigentlich ständig verändert und immer komplexer wird. Und darauf müssen wir irgendwie reagieren können. Und wenn man lernt, die Zukunft zu gestalten, dann hat man auch Einfluss auf die Entwicklung und kann unter dieser ständigen Unsicherheit leben. Und zwar ziemlich gut. Und wie genau machen wir das jetzt mit der Zukunftssimulation, Frieda?
Ja, für uns hängt ja Zukunftsgestaltung und die Simulation eng zusammen, denn damit wir uns Zukunft vorstellen können, müssen wir sie ein Stück weit simulieren, denn die Zukunft ist ja immer noch nicht da. Also tun wir mit The Future Game 2050 so, als wären wir heute schon in der Zukunft und lassen euch in Zukunftsrollen eintauchen und dann die Welt der Zukunft entdecken. Ja, Felix, wir arbeiten ja mit Zukunftssimulationen und dafür haben wir auch eine ganz bestimmte Methodik, einen Reiseplan, auf den wir die Organisation mitnehmen. Kannst du was zu diesem Reiseplan sagen?
Ja, sehr, sehr gerne. Also unser Reiseplan, der lehnt sich an die Methode der Retropolation an. Und wir starten immer im Heute und schicken dann, wie schon erwähnt, die Menschen ins Übermorgen, in die ferne, ferne Zukunft. Bei uns das Jahr 2050, darum auch The Future Game 2050. Ja, und dort wird dann simuliert, da wird entdeckt und dort wird Neues erkannt. Und dann gehen wir wieder zurück, aber nicht direkt ins Heute, sondern wir gehen so in die nahe Zukunft, ins Morgen. Das kann das Jahr 2025 sein, aber vielleicht auch 2030 oder dazwischen. Und in diesem Morgen, wo die meisten neuen Produkte, Strategien und Initiativen angesiedelt sind, dort fragt man sich dann, was kann ich jetzt aus der fernen Zukunft mitnehmen, was kann ich lernen, um meine mittelfristige Strategie, mein Produkt besser zu machen. Und dann, wenn wir das dann besser gemacht haben, gehen wir wieder zurück ins Heute und dort fangen wir dann an, voller Tatendrang das umzusetzen.
Also kurz gesagt, fragen wir uns für das Morgen, was wir aus dem Übermorgen lernen können. Das Tolle dabei ist, dass wir uns nicht so anstrengen müssen, aus dem Heute zu schauen auf die nächsten 5 Jahre und eben extrapolieren, Trends einfach versuchen nach vorne zu denken, sondern wir kommen ganz entspannt aus der Zukunft und schauen eigentlich zurück auf das Morgen. Und das schafft diesen Perspektivwechsel, von dem wir eben schon gesprochen haben, der ganz, ganz wichtig ist, um wirklich resiliente und zukunftssichere Strategien für Ihr Unternehmen, für Ihre Organisation zu entwickeln.
Okay, also unser Prozess, der ist ja schon ein bisschen aufwendig, ja, der dauert natürlich auch, aber wir haben natürlich auch einen Prozess, der relativ kurz abläuft, vielleicht einen halben Tag. Was sind denn so Quick Wins von unserer Herangehensweise?
Ja, also ich sage ja immer, dass The Future Game 2050 nie ohne positive Nebenwirkungen bleibt. Und auch wenn Sie nur eine Stunde spielen, dann verändert sich schon langsam was. Aber das meinen wir wirklich ernst, denn ich glaube, wenn man einmal in diese Zukunftssimulation eintaucht, dann hat man auf jeden Fall einen Teambuilding-Effekt, weil sich das Vertrauen untereinander erhöhen kann, wenn man eben auch mal in einer Zukunftsrolle agiert miteinander. Ich glaube, dass man schaffen kann, die Werte und Ziele des Unternehmens zu schärfen, weil man sich ganz andere Gedanken um sein Unternehmen macht. Man denkt outside of the box. Man kann Trends versuchen, systemisch besser zu verstehen, weil man auch in diesen Zukunftsrollen so viele Informationen hat über Zukunftsentwicklungen, die sich ereignen könnten. Wie gesagt, man durchbricht Muster, man muss zwanghaft anders denken. Und das hilft natürlich ganz besonders auch, um die Innovationsfähigkeit zu fördern. Das heißt, nur positive Nebenwirkungen.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. This is Professor Christine Selly with you at the MDC lab. And I'm here with you today and some scientists to celebrate the great success of the LifeTime project. So, yeah, we want to share the major breakthroughs we made in the last months and just celebrate this outstanding European initiative with you. So, more than 30 years ago, the LifeTime project, they set themselves a very ambitious goal. The ambitious goal was to intercept diseases so early that people don't even get sick, or if they get sick, they can treat patients so targeted that they get better very soon. And yeah, this is all with the help of single-cell biology. So, yeah, what we frankly did, or our predecessors did, is to start to revolutionize healthcare and to work towards a future without disease for all patients. So, imagine this, a life without a cancer diagnosis, because the cancer is intercepted so early in your cells that you will never have to get chemotherapy or even an operation. Imagine a life never having to suffer from a heart attack, because also you can see very early on in your cell development if you have a cardiovascular problem. Or imagine a life without Alzheimer's disease, because also neurological problems can be intercepted so very early that you're never going to develop it. All this information you can get only by testing a simple urine or blood sample. Today especially we want to celebrate that we managed to do a rollout of the early stage testing program with 7,500 clinics all around Europe. So imagine that millions of Europeans will be able to get so much more information about their bodies, about their cells, and get very early diagnosis if they might develop a problem.
LifeTime, a multidisciplinary initiative linking leading European researchers and clinicians, will revolutionize the way we understand and treat diseases by studying cells' behavior, an approach powered by artificial intelligence and novel disease models. LifeTime is preparing the ground for the next generation of precision medicine. Biomedical research typically brings high returns on investment, but LifeTime has the potential to outperform usual yields. LifeTime will foster the precision medicine market, already predicted to more than double until 2028. Researchers and clinicians will require a sophisticated offer of laboratory products and new services. Driven by powerful discoveries, the health industry will bring to market better solutions for patients. LifeTime experts expect that their research will lead to better disease management and prevention, but also cost savings. Improved cure rates in cancer could translate into more than €6 billion saved each year, thanks to the higher productivity of patients and their families. Early predictive biomarkers for COVID-19 will allow better care and shorter hospitalizations, a relief in case of epidemics. Each day of intensive care spared could mean hundreds of millions saved across Europe. World-leading innovators are heavily investing in related large-scale research initiatives. Europe needs to uniquely position itself around next-generation precision medicine and the big data revolution. LifeTime can accelerate innovation happening in Europe thanks to new synergies and faster results. Europe must create spaces where academia and industry meet around single-cell analysis research, therefore attracting talent and investments. LifeTime will shape future medicine and healthcare with a tremendous impact on the industrial economy, public budget and innovation. LifeTime will allow European patients and the whole society to benefit from truly personalized and effective healthcare.
Hello! We just took you into the MDC lab. Behind me you can see two top-notch researcher teams, and I'm so glad and happy that they could make it today to share a little bit about themselves and the work we are doing here, because we want to show you our great achievements here at LifeTime Project in the year 2050 and just celebrate today. Who do we have here? Oh, hello! So great that you're here. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, nice meeting you. Hi. So my name is Victoria. I'm a hacker for medical IT, and my job is to identify lags in the virtual healthcare system. And what do you need for this job? You have to be a very fast thinker, you have to be analytic and incorruptible. And what I really like about my job is that I can prevent lives actually, and also protect society with my skills. And my motto actually is, I think prevention is key.
My name is Lucio Xylophone. I'm a therapist for mental surgery, and I help people to overcome psychological and physical trauma disorders. I help actually people to live a happy and fulfilled life again, and my role was actually needed after a collapse of economy by collective trauma disorder. And yes, so I'm actually would love that my job isn't needed, and I think this could have been achieved by radically changing the educational system.
Hello, my name is Stella, and I'm a designer for a healthy environment. My job is to develop and integrate the different medical devices into high-tech rooms and newest furniture in order to monitor the healthy parameter of society in public. What I like about my job is that I can implement the newest technologies into the public into the public life. And my motto is design for health and well-being of people.
I'm Dr. It, and I come from Spain. I'm a computer engineer and a software developer, and I work as an artificial intelligence or AI trainer. What I basically do is to make sure that AI is not going out of control, and that humans know how to interact with it. I dream of a world where machines are actually able to help us with our everyday activities and our everyday jobs, and they complement basically our skills. What I hope is that the vast majority of people can actually benefit from this. And so for this, it's very important that everyone is actually acquainted and get to know these new technologies. So always remember, don't plug in your computer and unplug your brain.
My name is Dr. Joya. I'm 45 years old and I'm from Latvia. I belong to the ethics committee for medical products. So my job basically is complex decision making. My main task is to evaluate and consider interventions into the human organism and into human life for a healthy living. My main equipment, therefore, is knowledge. And it's in my job, it's very important, especially since we are focusing on Europe, that we prevent political conflicts or political conflicts are prevented, especially within Europe or towards Europe.
My name is Leonard. I'm a tissue engineer. I come from everywhere in this world, and using topological high-resolution scanners, advanced tissue engineering platforms, and multi-omic cell identifiers, I create tissue replacement cards and tissue exaggeration parts, and these should be used to, for example, if some parts of a human body are damaged by an injury, or somebody would wish to extend his or her body's ability with some tissue exaggeration parts, as we call them nowadays. I'm here to help, and my motto is make it new, make it juicy.
All right, so let's take a closer look at our work. Oh, I'm sorry, what's that? Who?
Hi.
Sorry?
Hi, I'm Dr. John. Hi.
Hi, sorry, but do you know that you're interrupting a live stream here? Who are you?
No,
Who let you
no.
in here?
Myself, because I have a question. When am I?
What?
When am I?
So you're in the MDC lab and...
Yes, okay, yes. But when?
Today is the 5th November.
Okay, which year?
2050?
Oh my gosh. So you won't believe it.
What is that?
It's a time machine. So I came all the way here because in my time we have a big problem. I'm from 2020, so in our time we have a huge pandemic going on, and we gotten off track with the LifeTime project.
Oh no!
Yes, so our future, and of course your future, is at stake. I mean,
no!
And the entire project is at stake. Yeah, I hope you can you help us?
Yeah, I mean, actually we are here to celebrate today, but yeah, this is
celebrate
more important.
What? What do you celebrate?
Yeah, a big breakthrough. I mean, we just did it. We implemented all the early stage testing in so many clinics all over Europe. It's running.
So it's successful, the project?
Yes, very much.
Okay, so you can give me insights and hints and ideas how we, back in 2020, can make it successful, right?
I hope so, because we really want to celebrate this day.
Perfect. So I prepared something, maybe a bit old-fashioned for you, but maybe you can still write with pen and paper. So.
Oh yeah, please. So I hope you're all in it, but we really need to work with our scientists here, yes?
Yeah, I prepared some questions. Maybe you can help me to get answers on these questions. Please help me out. These are the questions. So I believe they need some time, right?
Yeah, so let's get them at work. And yeah, dear ladies and gentlemen, you see that our mission has dramatically changed, like we just saw and you all saw live. So I would say we better let the scientists work on it and show some footage in the meantime. And I hope we are going to be able to save the future, guys.
European hospitals discharge many patients every day. Thanks to modern medicine, doctors have a good understanding of common illnesses, and they can successfully treat people who are sick. But sometimes medicine falls short. David, for example, has just been diagnosed with a neurodegenerative disease. After several years of worsening signs, the doctors can treat some of his symptoms, but they can't cure him. Lisa is a few years younger. She came into the hospital feeling some discomfort, and the tests have revealed she has advanced cancer. And Alex, on the other hand, has just suffered a heart attack. It turns out he's been living with cardiovascular disease, but he didn't know it. Like David, Lisa, and Alex, millions of European citizens suffer incurable long-term conditions that science cannot fully explain, which also include autoimmune and infectious diseases. These illnesses all have two things in common. First, scientists still don't fully understand the biological processes that cause them at the cellular and the molecular level. And second, the diseases often go unnoticed for months or even years. When patients receive a late diagnosis, the treatment options are limited. As a result, many face an untimely death or a reduced quality of life, while healthcare costs increase from lifelong therapies that cannot cure the disease. To address these problems, we have created the LifeTime initiative. We are a group of nearly 200 research institutions, hospitals and companies who share the vision to update the European approach to medicine. Our plan is to develop several new as well as existing technologies and apply them together to understand how diseases evolve. With this knowledge, we can transform diagnosis and treatment of complex illnesses. Here are the next steps to take. First, scientists will use single-cell technologies to study patient samples by looking at molecular changes in individual cells and not in bulk. The goal is to understand in fine detail the biological processes of cells involved in the onset and progression of diseases. Artificial intelligence will analyze samples from hundreds of thousands of patients to identify the recurring features of each illness. The new information will enable doctors to test people for early signs of disease. And this way, many will receive a timely diagnosis before they show advanced symptoms or widespread organ damage. In time, the artificial intelligence programs will even analyze each patient's data to help doctors take the best decisions. Thanks to the new medical outlook, scientists working with companies will also be able to develop the drugs that specifically target biological processes underpinning each disease. The drugs will be tested on organ-like structures called organoids, grown in the lab from patient samples. These tissues provide a realistic disease model to experiment with targeted medicine, so doctors will be able to choose the best treatment for each patient, based on their molecular and cellular profile. The LifeTime initiative consists of experts in healthcare and in key scientific fields. Together, we are ready to further develop these technologies and to integrate them into biomedical research and clinical practice. This will have wide-ranging impacts. For a start, our approach will modernize science and industry, but ultimately, the innovations will directly benefit European patients. In the future, David's daughter Sarah will go for a routine checkup, and the doctors will diagnose her with a chronic inflammatory condition. Sarah only has mild symptoms, but the markers in her cells confirm early disease. Since the illness hasn't done any permanent damage, she has a range of effective treatment options available, which will enable her to lead a normal life. As a society, we will all benefit from a low disease burden and reduced healthcare costs, all thanks to the revolution in understanding, tracking, and treating human cells during disease.
Cell-based medicine is the chance to use very modern technologies to quantify the molecular contents of cells just before they start to get sick or the tissue or the organ starts to drift into some disease. And this allows to make much better predictions about what kind of disease will develop or how to treat the disease, and also to develop new targets, drug targets that would eventually lead to new drugs that would help the individual person. I will start with the single-cell technologies. You can also name it as a molecular microscope. It is not a microscope, but it is a method by which you can, in each cell and for many cells simultaneously, quantify which genes are active and which genes are not. And this is incredibly important to understand how cells are doing, if they're doing well or not, what kind of decisions they're making, how they're communicating with the neighboring cells. And so this allows a completely new understanding of the fundamental unit of human life, which are cells. So then regarding the organoids, organoids are three-dimensional, small, usually small organs that can be grown in the lab. So you can, for example, make a kidney organoid, and this will be a piece of human-derived tissue in the lab, and this allows you to actually make experiments with this avatar kind of kidney. And you can actually do this for your personal organs, so not for all of them currently, and all of this is also still in development. But you can take cells from your body and derive mini organs, so to speak, mini organoids from them that mimic the health or the disease of your own organ. And so it allows us to actually, for example, screen for the best compound or drug to treat your organ if it has a disease. I think it would change generally towards improved healthcare. And to be more precise, currently, if you have symptoms, let's say one day you see blood in your urine, you go to the hospital, and if you have bad luck, it will be one of the major diseases like cancer. And then there will be a fight to get you better. And this fight will mainly consist of trying to remove the cancerous cells or the tumor from your body by various methods, surgery or chemotherapy or immunotherapy nowadays. But it will not be about bringing these cells back to health. This is not possible because they are so far removed from health that this is just extremely difficult. The reason for this is that it usually takes a long time for a cancer to develop, and when you have the symptoms, the disease has started a long time ago, so the cells are already very different, and then to make them normal again is just very difficult. With the new technologies and what LifeTime proposes how to integrate them, we hope to monitor, for example, risk patients much earlier and routinely and in a, let's say, milder form, basically looking at liquids from your body fluids, and then being able to see early alterations of cells much before they really develop into the disease or the symptoms. And therefore, because these cells are still relatively normal, by understanding which molecules are actually are currently active in these cells, to target them and to pull them back onto a healthy trajectory.
What LifeTime can bring is opening our eyes on the possibilities to know oneself much better at the level of all our individual cells. And so, and we are more than just the addition, we are the combination of how they all work together. And so this understanding is possible. And that will be a big step for the medicine of the future. So with LifeTime, what we have put together is an effort with a number of people from a broad range of expertise, scientists, medics, also industrial partners, people in human sciences as well, with the same goal, that is to be able to use the knowledge that we can grasp at the level of the cell to intercept disease early on. So it's really for the future of medicine. I think that it is to some extent a way to have another type of life. If we can anticipate the problem and intercept before there's a manifestation of the adverse symptoms, then we will live much better. And for sure, we will limit time in hospitals. We will limit all these painful situations and endangered cases for people. Yeah, in some way, it can be seen as a disease-free world. One could imagine that it would be possible to have regularly some tests, and they could be done based on liquid, so blood or urine or things that can be easily accessible, where you could identify cells that are circulating and look at whether they can give you some insight concerning some defects or deviation that could start happening somewhere, and then be able to react immediately. So I think there would be more of a routine type of approach that should be implemented. And even, I would say, in a longer term, there may be possibilities perhaps to be able to do part of this even oneself, if we are able to have tools that can be accessible for people in an easy manner. I think if you can use saliva or other things, it could be relatively simple. There are mainly three main pillars, I would say. So one is the possibility to analyze at a molecular level all the properties of individual cells. And so this is where we combine what we call omics and imaging together. So this is one aspect. The second is because we will collect a huge amount of information for the different cells, for the different patients, this will require to integrate this information. So the technology here will be exploiting the advances in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and that will be the second important aspect. The third one is to be able to have models derived from patient samples so that we can test on these models potentially molecules that can intervene and help to get back into a normal situation. So these are, for example, what we called mini tissues or organoids that mimic a particular tissue, so mini guts or whatever you can envisage, or mini brain, ideally, where we can have options to then recapitulate what corresponds to a patient. So we really want to have the capacity to get to the singularity of a patient at the level of their cells. The choice of particular disease area was related to workshops where we have brought together both specialists of the technologies I mentioned before and also doctors that are dealing with diseases to see whether the disease they are really trying to cure is amenable to the use of the technology. And so for that, the question of heterogeneity was an important one, availability of material, and so on and so forth. I'm not going into detail, but there were a series of criteria. And so the disease that came as the first one to consider were cancer, broadly speaking, but then we could go deeper and have more selected ones. Then there were neurological disease and disorders that also came out. There were also infectious disease, cardiovascular disease, and inflammatory disease. So these are the first one that came. What is also important to stress is that while we were looking at that, we were thinking, well, should we privilege one or the other? And the idea that came across was that there was also very interesting transverse aspect that could be important for all of them. And also because looking at one disease sort of in a silo may not be the best way to look at it. If you think about a patient, patients often have comorbidities and may have different things. And so it is important to have a vision that is more integrated of the patient.
Hey, Dr. John, Dr. John. Hey. I think our scientists are ready. They have something for you.
Okay, yeah, great. I made a lot of process and I watched great videos. So.
Oh yeah, I hope you spent your time in our archive well.
It was great, so thank you for this.
You did really achieve a lot, right? But
yeah,
let's save the future.
Okay, come on.
Hey scientists, I have Dr. John for you. Are you ready to present? Yeah. Okay. Okay, take it away for Dr. John. Let's save our future.
We are really devastated to hear that the past featuring such a problems, especially the pandemic. And since I'm a designer for the healthy environments, I think I would really suggest to implement very early detection systems in the public places. Some kind of system which are combined with the high throughput technology for early detection of not only of viral but also of the microbial contaminations, when you can actually detect what you have in the air, and to also follow all the mutations which are happening in all the different viruses of or other type of microorganisms. Because, you know, as you are now facing the pandemic, it can always happen also in the future. And I think the only way to prevent it actually is to already do it now in the present.
Yeah, thank you for this advice. Thank you.
And we need definitely more self-competent citizens who can make independent choices for themselves and their community. Because the problem in your age in 2020 is that you're still learning from an old industrial school system with the belief that there's only one solution. So you should actually really change the education system to a global cooperative mindset and help to raise self-conscious, empathic and resilient citizens.
Well, thank you for this. This is great. Thank you. So, do you have more for me?
Oh, yes. I think we have another scientific group who work for you. So, come, Dr. John.
Okay, okay.
All right. I have Dr. John for you. So, please give him good advice to take back to the past.
So, Dr. John, we discussed, and we think that it's very, very important that you always keep the patients and the people in mind when taking decisions, first of all. And that technology development alone cannot drive the field of healthcare, but you need a collaborative effort across labs, but also across countries. And while doing this, you always need to keep in mind that values like transparency to and with the public are very important. That involvement with the public and different stakeholders is important in order to make healthcare thrive, and not just healthcare, but also to make people happy at the end.
Interesting, interesting. So thank you. I mean, that's a lot, and with all the videos from the archive, I got a lot. Infos I can take back to the past.
What do you think, Dr. John? Is it going to be enough to save our future, to keep the LifeTime projects as successful as it is right now in the year 2050?
You know, my gut feeling says yes. So absolutely. So I will take back all this information into the past, and then hopefully maybe we see us again. I don't know, but thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. John, for taking this long journey to us. And yeah, take care. Bye.
Good luck.
Oh my God, that live stream went really different than we expected, dear ladies and gentlemen. But I think you just witnessed history, because now we are really able to secure our future here, and we are so grateful to Dr. John that he's going to convince the people in the past to really work hard to keep the LifeTime project as successful as it is now. Stay tuned for our new breakthroughs coming up very soon, and yeah, always support the LifeTime project. Bye.